What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk about college football with real fans. I'm Devin. Pumped to be here tonight, man. Buckeyes coming up on another game. The Wisconsin Badgers took care of business with Illinois. We are 6-0, rolling. Some things we want to see get better, but we are rolling. Chat, appreciate you guys, man. Been following you in there, and you always show up early. You show up every single night. It's not a show without y'all, all the regulars, all the new people, Dennis, Steely, Firefish, everybody in there. Appreciate you guys always showing up. Hit that like button for me. Hit that subscribe button as well. Super chats are up and rolling as well. If you got a question, put it in there. Tonight, Ian is supposed to be joining us. He's having a little bit of technical difficulties. That was the holdup. He was below here. He just left again. So if he pops back up, we'll bring him on here and get rolling with it. But we're going to go over some previews here. I got some Wisconsin statistics to go over and some bold predictions as well. And I'm going to be honest with you. As I was doing my research here and comparing the two teams, I kept asking myself, I'm not sure this is worth it. I'm not sure it is, because here's the truth. Wisconsin's bad. They are bad. They are the worst team in the Big Ten. You know, their quarterback situation, I don't even know who their starting quarterback is. Was supposed to be Billy Edwards, the former Maryland quarterback, I think. He got injured. Then it was Danny O'Neal. And then last game it was somebody else. So I have no idea. I do not know who their quarterback is, but I know things aren't going too smoothly for them. So without trying to bore you guys to death, because we kind of already know that, right? So I'm sitting here comparing the teams, and it's a pretty wild comparison. So I'm like, I don't want to bore these guys to death with looking at it, but we will go over a few specific things that, I want to keep an eye on. These games, right? I do want to bring this up because these games, right? The Illinois game, 34-16. You heard Ryan Day in his press conference, and we've been asking ourselves, is the way that he's playing, the way that he's calling offense, is it because football has changed? And he answered that question as plainly as we could in his thing. He said, style points, they just don't matter anymore. It's about winning the football game. And I know that's aggravating. It makes the game a little more boring, for me at least, to watch. But that is what Ryan Day is doing. Because of the way the playoffs have changed the game, he is, in fact, doing that. And we kind of guessed that. So, but the thing about it is last game, the Illinois game, we saw, hey, maybe our defense struggles a little bit with tempo, okay? Well, that's beautiful for us to struggle in a game and still win 34-16. It allows the coaches to go back to the drawing board. And over on the Scoop message board, the helping technician put a nugget out today. Matt Patricia, he did not like that. He did not like the defense struggling with tempo. He did not like Brett Bielema's comments after about, the tempos going through the defense like knife through butter, stuff like that. So he implemented a little bit different play calling technique for when teams go tempo, a more of a universal play calling that the defense is able to use. So I love it. Matt Patricia, he's a genius, not just on the defensive side of the ball, but the offensive side of the ball as well. He's just a football genius altogether. So it really allows him to be able to sit back and break down these things. And he understands what tempo does for an offense. So if he can understand that at the level at which he can, imagine what he can come up with defensively to negate that, to negate the tempo that teams are most doubtedly going to try to use against these Buckeyes. Now, Wisconsin, I don't think they're capable of going tempo right now. They got a lot of questions that need to be answered. But we'll see. They're going to come out playing hard. One thing about Luke Fickell's teams, they're going to come out playing hard. Before I dive into that, Let's talk about this. Kamari Bang, safety, former Maryland committed to the Buckeyes. So we got Landry Breed, an Ohio offensive lineman. We got the Maryland safety, Kamari Bang. You guys are going to look at his ranking and you're not going to be excited. I already know it. But look at the offers, look at the teams after him. Alabama was after him quite a bit. Ohio State views him as a very good football player. Very, very one of the top football players, one of the top safeties and corners in this class. And if there's one thing we know about Ohio State, it's this coaching staff's ability to evaluate some of these targets that they're after because they do not look at the national rankings like us fans do. They don't think, I wonder which player we should go after. Let's look at the 247 composite rankings and make a decision. No, they don't whatsoever. They do their own evaluations. They watch their own film. They are not concerned with where these players rank whatsoever. And there are examples of that over and over again. The most recent one, Jalen McClain, right? We see what Matt G does with his evaluations, getting Jalen McClain in the door, and look what he's doing this year. He is a very good football player. So it looks like Ian has joined us. Here we go. What up, Ian?
What's up, Dev? Good evening, Buckeye Nation. How's everyone doing?
Hey, man, we good. Everybody, we just been waiting on you, man. I know. Hey, this YouTube thing, it's wild. You never know.
Man, this ain't for the week, man. I'm having a little technical difficulties here, man. Beginner issues, but I'm glad to be here, man. I really am. I'm excited. A great Wednesday evening with my Buckeye family. So, yeah, let's jump right into it, Dev.
Yeah, man. Ian, I just kind of am going over Buckeye recruiting real fast. We'll get done with that. Then we'll dive into the Wisconsin. I'm talking about the Kamari Bang pickup right now. And essentially, what I'm trying to tell people is the Buckeyes view him as a top safety.
Yes.
Alabama going after him hard, Indiana going after him. So he's a big time football player. And also, some more news Amari Latimer, the former Wisconsin commit, the running back. He's got a crystal ball to Ohio State now. Go watch his film as well. And again, with as deep as I've got into recruiting over these past couple years, I would say probably the number one lesson I've taken from it is I trust Ohio State's evaluation over 247 composite, on 3, ESPN, whatever else, Con 3, all those other ones you can think of. I'm going with the Ohio State coaches' evaluations of these players, right? Look at Bo Jackson this year. He wasn't a 5-star. Is he playing like a 5-star? Yeah, he's playing like a 5-star. He's leading all of freshman running backs in the FBS for yards right now. So doing pretty good, if you ask me. So
No
picking
question.
up a lot of momentum, even for the 27 class. I'll tell you, here's one thing I know the Buckeyes will have a 5-star running back in the 2027 class. It's a guarantee. It's happening. Ain't nobody going to beat him for both Keemon Spell and David Gabriel George. It's not going to happen. The Buckeyes are getting one of them for sure.
No
But
question.
Ian, you want to add something to that, and we'll dive into this Wisconsin game.
Nah, so the only thing I want to add about the safety pickup is, he's local. I'm in DC as well, and the buzz around him is palpable, right? I haven't got a chance to get out and seen him, but I've talked to a few coaches. I actually live right down the street from a high school who's pretty decent. Good. Went to the state playoffs last year, and like you say, everybody wanted this kid, man. Only a 3-star, but like you say, we'll trust the Buckeyes evaluations rather than the recruiting cycles and the recruiting sites, right? Um, I do think the running back from Pennsylvania who just decommitted from Penn State, incredible. I got a chance to check out his highlights as well. I think I think we're fine in the recruiting department. I trust our coaches, trust our evaluators, and I think again we land both of those guys. Our recruiting class, we once again in the top 5, I believe. And so, um, yeah, man, nothing else to add to that. I'm excited for that safety though. He's a player. I think he's what 6'1", 6'2".
Yeah, 6'2", and he's got good corner skills as well. That's the
No
thing. Dude's a
question.
ball hawk, has a pick six this year, multiple interceptions. So,
No question.
I think that the Buckeyes are recruiting him as a safety, but we all know, hey man, the Buckeyes are just going to put players where they need to be put to where they're needed, and their skill set's the best. So right now, safety, but you never really know. There's one more recruiting thing I got to add here, and it's in regards to Aaron Thomas, the offensive tackle out of Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
So, while back, heard taking a visit to FSU. Everybody flipped out. I talked to Aaron. It's a family tradition that they go do that. They do it every year. His dad
Mm-hmm.
graduated from FSU. I got told, nah, this ain't nothing. I'm a Buckeye. Okay. Everybody pushing, hey, he's not going to be in this class. Well, it come back up again. The visit came to fruition. He went. I don't know that I would call it a visit, but he went to the game with his family. Okay. I spoke with him. I
Mm-hmm.
spoke with his mom and him. And just like last time, his recruitment, I'm just going to tell you this. The Buckeye, we were the only ones that guessed he was going to go to Ohio State and got it right. We were the only ones that had him going to Ohio State. Not there's no other recruiting site that picked him to go to the Buckeyes. It was Texas. Wilfong had a Texas A&M crystal ball in for him the night before, and I'm like, nah. I was talking to the kid. The kid's like, nah, dude, I'm a Buckeye. He shouted us out during his commitment. It was really cool for the channel here. But there's people taking, I think people are taking shots in the dark again. Will Fong said, I do not expect Aaron Thomas to be in this class. Now, what I will say about that is that's just a complete shot in the dark, man, because I spoke with him and his mom, and I got told he's a Buckeye. Now, other teams are reaching out, and he is a Buckeye, but I'm just going to go off that. Now, that does not mean that these guys aren't right. It
Right.
does not mean the dude's not going to end up in the class.
Right.
But their intel that they have for that is literally just a complete shot in the dark. And with recruiting these days, shots in the dark are 50-50 anymore. You know what I
Facts.
mean?
Facts.
Like you could
Facts.
almost, you could
Facts.
just say, oh, this guy's going to flip. And you probably got 50% on that with
No
nil and
question.
all that stuff. But
No question.
but what Will Fong is putting out there and some other people are putting out there, it's not based off some big piece of intel. The intel coming from him and his mom is that he's a Buckeye.
Right.
Now, that's all I'm going to say. I think he's going to end up in the class. He might not. Who knows? But I wanted to share that with you guys. And let's dive into this Wisconsin thing. I was saying earlier before you got on, I do a lot of comparisons, right? I compare, all right, where's the Buckeyes passing offense rank? Where's the Wisconsin's offense rank, passing offense? We compare. That's normally what I do here. And as I was doing it, I'm like, bro, am I wasting my time? Because here's the truth. Wisconsin's the worst team in the Big Ten. They are very, very bad. They just are not good. So when you like look statistically, um, these teams don't compare whatsoever. Wisconsin, they give up a lot of sacks. They're 125th in the nation for giving up sacks. The Buckeyes are number 2 in the nation for giving up sacks. So that's one to keep an eye on. Passing offense, we're the 41st passing offense. They're 112th. Their their red zone defense, very bad. Teams score 90% of the time they get in the red zone on them. Um, let's see. Total offense, they average 290 yards per game. We average 420. Um, let's see. Passing defense, they're 66th. They give up 220 passing yards per game. So I want to start on the our offensive side of the ball, their defensive side of the ball. What do you think the Buckeyes are going to be able to do? Before we do that, let me tell you this: Wisconsin defense. They gave up 270 passing yards against Scum, against Bryce
No.
Underwood. They gave up
No.
382 passing yards against Alabama. They
Right.
gave up 208 passing yards against Middle Tennessee,
Right.
265 passing yards against Maryland, and 210 rushing yards against Iowa, which that
Right.
kind of fits the Iowa bill a little more. But with that information, let's dive in. What are we going to be able to do against their defense? Are we worried about our offense in regards to this at all? Dive into this a little bit for us, Ian. Tell us what you think.
So yeah, man, I've been looking at their schedule. I actually watched the Alabama game. And surprisingly, Dev, like as much as it pains me to watch a former Buckeye go through this up there, um, someone who was near and dear to my childhood and watching him on that defensive line and seeing him go to Cincinnati and have success. I mean, they're terrible. I've been listening to some Wisconsin podcasts. The coaching, the assistant coaches up there are the ones that's being questioned the most, specifically the defensive side of the ball. So I think, especially like you alliterated, Illustrated, excuse me, man, their passing defense is terrible. I mean, Michigan. If you watch Michigan for just 2 drives, you'll see that Bryce Underwood is limited at best as a thrower. I mean, everything is a fastball, and so for I mean, the receivers, they have a freshman, but besides that, they don't throw the ball at a very prolific rate. And so, I mean, is this the game where we let our horses get out there and hit the track? You know what I'm saying? Because at some point, Dad, we have to start to put it on the field. You can't just flip a switch. I mean, people refer back to last year, and the notion is that we all of a sudden flip the switch come playoff time. But I think we seen glimpses of it during the season, right? I
Mhm.
think we saw it being put on the field. We went down the field to JJ. We actually took those shots, but I think this is the game where we at least put it out there and show that we can do it. You know what I mean? You can't just, and especially with the field being 12 teams, to think you can just flip a switch in game one of the playoffs, or like you say, most likely meeting Indiana in the Big Ten championship. I think we got to start getting it out there and getting a rhythm. So I think this is the game. Luke Fickle is an aggressive coach on defense. Some zone, a lot of man. So I think we can. I think we have the matchups. It may be a big Max Clear game. Get the middle open. So I'm thinking this is the game. I also hope to see our scheme switch up on the run on our run aspect as well. And so what say you?
Yeah. So there's a couple things. Number one, we've been wondering about the offense. We've been handling business, right? But we know the offense has so much more. And we've been kind of thinking, well, maybe Day isn't doing it because of the playoffs. Well, that is the correct assumption. Day verified that in his press conference. I told the chat before you got on. He said, hey, it doesn't matter about style points anymore. That's
Right,
dead.
right,
You need to win by one. You need to win
right,
by 1 point. As long if you win every game in your season, you're going to the playoffs. There's not four teams getting in. They don't go by how much did you beat this person by. The Buckeyes are never going to be in that situation in this 12-team playoff era. So I understand that mindset from Day, but you brought up something good. Last year, we had an experienced quarterback, right? And a lot of experienced, really good receivers. So it's almost like you could just kind of flip that switch because you had an experienced quarterback who had the experience enough to be good at that instantly, right? If we're saying, hey, we can pass down the field if we want to, but we don't need to, I don't, I feel like we can, but like you said, we haven't seen it a lot. So if that's something we're saving, what if what we're saving needs polished?
right,
What if what we're saving
right,
needs some work?
right.
Okay. That's you can have that debate with Julian Sands accuracy. I'm not quite sure. I think he's going to be very good at it, right? When that
Right.
switch is flipped. I don't know we're going to see it for Wisconsin. I don't trust that we are. Why? Because we're not going to need to do that. Now, here's one thing that we will see for Wisconsin, I do believe, and this is coming from a source in the know. We will see some not the running tendencies we've been seeing. It's not going to happen this game. Well, I can't say that. They are practicing a lot of different running schemes, the counters, they're practicing misdirections, they're practicing different things than, hey, 13 personnel, run it up the gut, because that tendency, that's dead now. Every team knows without a doubt when that pack is in the game, you're running up the middle. That's
Right.
what you're going to do. So they know that, right? So now it's that time. The coaches have 6 games to go back on, look at the running scheme, look at what is the offensive line good at, what are these running backs good at, and change the scheme to fit their ability. And with this offensive line, I think the sky's the limit. Run whatever running scheme that you want with those guys, counters, whatever. They're good enough healthy, right? Had a lot of injuries in high school. Obviously, we've seen it, got banged up again, still banged up right now. Are we going to
Right.
see him to his fullest? We're going to start seeing Isaiah West a little bit, Turbo Rogers. I don't know. But I think we're going to see a little more passing, right, than we
Mhm.
did in the Washington game, and then we did in the Illinois game, simply because how bad Wisconsin's defense is in
Right.
that area. Now, one thing Wisconsin's defense, they got 11 sacks on the season. Through the first 4 games, they had 11 sacks. They really like to rush their linebackers a lot.
Right.
Tackett Curtis, if you're a Buckeye, you know who Tackett Curtis is. He's the second leading tackler on the team. What's he got there? 22 tackles with 1 sack. But Christian Alargo, 38 tackles, 2 sacks. So you're going to see that. You're going to see some blitzing from the linebacker position. But I think this is a time where, if you're a Buckeye fan and you want to see that passing attack, we're going to see some of it. But I
Right.
think you're going to come out of the game saying, dang, I wish we would have seen more, because I just don't think we're going to need to do it very much, bro. I really don't.
I agree.
And Ryan Day said it in his press conference, hey, we just need to win. Just
I
got to
agree.
win the game, man. So
I agree.
you got anything to add to that before we move on to our defense?
I do, man. I do. So two things. And obviously, man, a great summation of kind of what to expect. I know you kind of in the know and have some sources. Listening to Ryan Day's press conference, it strikes me as odd, man. Too, he's really calm. He's real serene. I feel like he's in a good place. I do think he did point out that, listen, we can't just throw it for the sake of throwing it, right? The defense is, they're scared. They're scared to death of us. They're playing way back, especially Illinois, and Ryan Walters is like, not Ryan Walters, but the Illinois Aaron, the defensive Aaron. I can't think of his last name, but he's an aggressive
Yeah.
coach, and for him to play that safe against us was, I thought that was the game where we would be able to kind of see it on display. But I'm not one that thinks that we need to see the aerial assault from 2018. I just want us to be efficient and take those shots when they're there. I was looking at some tape of the game, and there's shots that we're missing though. I think, right? There's
Mm-hmm.
shots that could be taken. You look around and see some of the receivers. We could hit JJ or Cardinal in stride, and we don't. It doesn't necessarily have to be a 60-yard bomb to me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It can be a slant, and JJ can take. He did it against Western Michigan last year. He took one. He outran the whole team. That's the kind of stuff I want to see, not just the conservative, just like you say, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, man. I think that's kind of relieving too much meat on the bone. You know what I mean? Get our
Yeah.
athletes in space. We did have JJ in space. Claire and Sarahville almost got him killed, but I think it's starting to get there. You know what I mean. But I just want to see our athletes be put in space, and we have world class athletes on the perimeter. And even Brandon Ennis, I think his short area quickness, we could use that a little more. And the second thing was Julian saying, I think he's ready to. I think he's confident, he's calm, he's accurate. I think he got to let it go just a little more. Not necessarily down the field, but again, and hit some tight windows and let the receivers, make some moves. Make one person miss, and it's a house call after that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So that's
Yeah.
kind of what I hope to see. The second thing is, and I want you to chime in on this, Dev. Like and you've been right. I will give you credit. If anyone needs to run back the tape, Dev said it first. Isaiah West. We got to see some new blood in the backfield, man. CJ Donaldson and James Peoples at some point. This is Ohio State. I always think about the speech Justin Fields gave pregame. This is Ohio State, man. This is the best of the best. You shouldn't be on the field if you're not the best at your position. I don't care what your NIL value is. I don't care what your recruiting ranking was. I don't care what state you came from. Play the best players. So I would like to see some new blood in the backfield and give Isaiah West some meaningful carries. You know what I mean? And see if we can get this thing cranked up, man, because we're gonna need the run game. We're gonna need it.
Yeah.
I've been listening to Danny Cannell and on three boys. They don't think we have any weaknesses, but everybody's picking that little nit that it's the running game that is just something's not quite right there. And so I want to see
Yeah.
the coaching staff give somebody a chance and maybe something pops. There's been two freshman running backs in the backfield in a lot of places over the years. If that's what it is, that's what it is. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to see if we can get something shaking in the backfield.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's part of me that wants to agree with everything you said wholeheartedly, and then the other part of it is C.J. Donaldson's experience. Right,
Right.
had a good game against Illinois, but there is no doubt that he doesn't have the skill set that we're used to seeing at Ohio State. He just doesn't. He's nowhere near Bo Jackson, and Isaiah West is a more talented back than he is. However,
Mhm.
he's a freshman, right? So I just think C.J. Donaldson or Isaiah West, I would like to see him get involved in the rotation somehow. I'm not saying take all snaps away from CJ, definitely not Bo, but hey, we're going to need somebody else. This is a long season. We're going to need somebody that has that kind of ability like Bo Jackson does to
Right.
make some people miss, right? To
Right.
break through the first tackles, to right, not run directly into the back of our offensive line. Like if the play's blocked up, I promise you he's getting the yards. If it's not, there's no hope. There's no bouncing off going around the end. So, wide receivers need to block better, tight ends need to block better. There's some things, but luckily, like what I'm hearing from inside the Woody is they know all this. The coaches see all this. They know all this. They're working on it. They haven't needed, there hasn't been a huge sense of urgency to, oh my God, get our running game fixed, get it fixed, because it's not that urgent. We're just Ohio State. We know the ability that they have, right?
Sure.
So we want to see them at max capacity. As fans, we want to see it on Wisconsin. We want to see the offense at 100%. The coaches, right? They're playing that long game. They want to see the offense at 100% in the playoffs. They ain't worried about it now. So they're going to take their time, conservative, slowly, put things in slowly, a little bit at a time. And at this point, I'm still going to bicker and complain about the things I want to see. But ultimately, I trust the coaches, right? What they got going on, what Ryan Day got going on, whatever he does, do your thing, except for special teams. I don't trust Ryan Day with special teams, but that's okay. We won a national title with Jaden Fielding and the same punter last year. So by God, we can do it again, dude. We can freaking do it again, son. So this
No,
team,
I agree with you, man.
yeah,
I echo everything you said. Again, I trust the coaching staff, but again, it's that sickle fan in you, man, that wants everything precise. Especially, look, there's been a lot of talk about the Big Ten and the SEC, but what I will say is I see some dynamic running backs around the country, not just in the SEC, but just I watch a lot of college ball, and Bo Jackson
yeah,
is as dynamic as they come. But I know you need that aspect of your offense to be clicking at the right time. So we have time, 6 weeks. Again, I trust Locke. I mean, we got Coach Lachlan back there. I know he's getting them boys together. But again, man, I agree with you. I trust the leadership of this program, especially hearing kind of his explanation for kind of what we're seeing out there. I mean, he was very transparent on a Tuesday press conference, and so I agree 100%, brother.
yeah. Dude, Big John Buck, what's up, brother? Appreciate Dev. Coach Day just said that Edric and Lorenzo are ready to go for Saturday. Yeah, I know what's going on with both players. Lorenzo, just one of those things where you're gonna have to manage the pain. It's not a
Right.
season-ending injury or
Thanks.
anything. It's just one of those things can't be fixed in season. Not gonna be fixed. Just you got to deal with the pain on an Edric sophomore in college, dude. Like real life, they're real people. Okay,
Correct.
they're real
Correct.
kids. They're kids in college playing for the number one college football team while trying to go to class, all these things. So
Correct.
we saw Edric have a really good game against Minnesota. And then we saw him not play because of an injury, and it was like, dang, man, I wanted to see that momentum. But it's awesome to see, man, he's got this. Speaking of the defense, good time to dive into it, right?
For
Because
sure.
loved what we saw last game with Jermaine Matthews at nickel. It's really hard for me to want Jermaine Matthews to go back to the outside when I see him cause 2 turnovers. It really is. But for the betterment of the team, right? I think Devin Sanchez's ceiling is higher on the outside than Jermaine Matthews' ceiling. And I think Jermaine Matthews' ceiling is higher than Lorenzo Siles' ceiling at the nickel position, right?
Right.
But Low Styles been playing his tail off. He's been playing very better than us fans have given him credit for. I'll tell you that
Yes.
right now. Go watch the film. He's been playing better than when you say Lorenzo Styles, they think of the Ohio game and the one touchdown we gave up. That's all people remember. Okay. But he's been playing well. So pumped he's back. His leadership, his dynamic ability to go to safety and nickel, his understanding of the game. You need that on this team. But I also love seeing these backups get a lot of reps in this game. I would say at this point in time in the season, the position group that I am the most excited about right now is the defensive line. Because watching Taiwan Malone go out there and do his thing, bro, watching what Caden Curry is able to do, knowing what Kenyatta Jackson is going to do the rest of the season, dealing with a little bit of an injury, but not an injury that's going to affect him like that.
Right.
This defensive line with K-Mac, bro. I mean, my goodness. And then Tywon Malone stepping up. Edric
Mhm.
Houston, hopefully he gets that momentum. Jason Moore,
No,
Jarquez Carter. It's
no
so
question.
wild the thoughts we get in our head preseason. We think that it's over.
Right.
Four defensive linemen off to the NFL. Oh my God, what are we going to do? It's every season there's a certain position group. Listen, last year, offensive line.
Right.
Look what the offensive line did last year. This year, defensive line. Look what the defensive line's doing this year. So from now on, every time I hear a group of complaining from the Buckeye fans, maybe next year they're going to be like, man, I'm really worried about our secondary. I'm going to
Right.
predict that our secondary is going to be the best position group on the field.
Right.
That seems to be what's going on. So, defense wise, Wisconsin football, Luke Fickle's changed it up a little bit. He likes the air raid a little bit more. It's not that old time Wisconsin football, pounding the ball up the middle. In these games that Wisconsin has won, and in other games, you can clearly see they want to pass the ball. The issue is, well, I don't know that they have. I don't know what's up with Danny O'Neill. I know what's up with their first starting quarterback. I think they're on a third string quarterback, last name Hunter. He was 8
He's a
for
third.
21 with 64 yards and 2 interceptions, 0 touchdowns. So
Right.
I don't think they have the capacity to pass the ball in this offense. I think it's going to shut this defense. We're not going to give up a single point in the Wisconsin game. Dive into the defense, Ian. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, man, I echo the same sentiments, Dev. I'm super excited to continue to watch this defense. Yeah, like so for me, the evolution of the defensive line, man, and we all were, I mean, we all took a big gasp when we heard of Edric news in the preseason, right? You know, we our minds went some crazy places when we heard he went down.
Yeah,
But to see Tywon Malone and to see Will Smith Jr. and to see, like you say, Jason Moore get into the game and really wreck, really, I mean, Jason Moore was clogging up the middle there. I mean, K Mac just taking the ball away from the Illinois running back like a little boy, like a little schoolboy, right? Just taking the ball away from him, and big bank take little bank, man. Give me that, and I'm going. It's those dudes are nasty. Caden Curry, I mean, he ran down Luke Altmaier to the boundary, and that was incredible, like incredible, bro. Like it has me watching defense like I'm watching offense. I'm getting just excited as what because usually we want them to stop them 3-0, and we want to see the aerial assault, but I'm just like in uh the announcers, whatever faults they may have, they were just excited as we were on defense to watch these Buckeyes. I mean, the red zone stuff is incredible. Sonny stopping Luke Altmaier at the goal line within 1 inch. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
bro.
That type of stuff gets me going, bro. Like honestly, so yeah, like you alliterated, man. Like we are putting on a historic defensive performance game in and game out. A lot of people think this is the single best unit in the country. To see what Jermaine Matthews did at slot, I mean, he was everywhere. He was blitzing, causing fumbles and coverage, causing picks. I mean, he's so fast laterally. I don't know about his straight line speed, but I know from hash to hash, that kid is about as dynamic as you get. I mean, Jordan Hancock was good, and Jordan Hancock was probably a better tackler, but Jermaine Matthews side to side is unreal, bro. Like, and then obviously Caleb Downs and what we got back there at the safety position, Jalen McClain. We haven't said his name, which means he's good. He's doing great. We haven't said Jalen McClain's name all year. Actually, if you want to go back and watch the first quarter, I think it was the first or second drive. Sonny Styles caught some friendly fire from Jermaine. I mean, that kid is a missile, and he knocked big 6'5", 250 Sonny Styles, and I thought he might have hurt him. But nah, we're phenomenal on that side of the ball, man. And I do think for all our kind of consternations on the offensive side and just little ones, right? We're still number one in the country. I think teams that we may end up matching up with, they have no idea how good this defense is,
Yeah,
right? When we when
yeah,
we when we finally play a matchup game, where I think Buckeye Nation will be shocked just how dynamic this is, because I don't think everybody's just blowing smoke. You got some defensive legends in the media saying, "I haven't seen nothing like this since 21 Georgia." Right?
yeah,
So I'm excited, man. Tywon Malone has really impressed me, but yeah, man, I'm not sure if Wisconsin, I'm not sure if they put up a point this weekend. I hate this. I hate that
yeah,
for Luke, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure,
yeah,
bro.
yeah. Let me answer this real fast. Charles wants to know if we go back on Jacob Weatherspoon, the kid that left our class and went to North Carolina. That is a hard no.
Right.
And that's a factual no. That's not a gut feeling Devin has here. That's a no. It's not happening. Anyway, uh, here's the thing, right? Here's what I felt last year, and here's what my intel backed up my feelings last year. It was this: when you watch the defense last year,
Hmm.
you watched them play in games the first half of the season, and you thought, "Dang, we need to get some pressure on the quarterback." Then the intel coming out of that following week, I expected to hear some things going on to create more pressure. Now, that wasn't the case. It
Hmm.
was get better fundamentally, which is that's every week, right? Every week it's get better fundamentally. You always want to do that. But the difference this year is Matt Patricia. That Illinois game bugged the fire out of Matt Patricia. I'm telling you, it got under his skin. Coach Brulema got under his skin with his comments. And the Buckeyes, they saw an area that they wanted to improve on the defense, tempo, specifically tempo. They saw that. Matt Patricia, right to the drawing board, plan immediately. I bet you that dude was drawing up a plan during the game. I
Facts.
seriously think that he was. So
Facts.
he's on top of it. I'm telling you, Matt Patricia, like I said, I was saying this before you got on, he is so smart on the defensive side of the ball and the offensive side of the ball. That's what makes him so scary as a defensive coordinator because
Facts.
he knows how offensive coordinators are going to attack this defense. And this defense is going to evolve every step of the way. Every game, there's going to be something a little bit different. We're going to see something a little bit different in Wisconsin than we're used to seeing. But when you have the number one and the number two linebackers that are going to go off the board in the NFL draft in this next upcoming draft. Arvell Reese, number one, Sonny Styles, number two. Watch, I think that's what's about to happen. But man, Matt Patricia knows how to utilize these guys, right? He knows how to utilize their strengths. And Arvell Reese is, dude, I cannot tell you how big of a blessing he is to this defense. You can watch what he does on the field all day long, and I don't think you'll be able to, unless I were to have a sit down with Matt Patricia and be like, hey, man, like privately, because he would never say in public how important Arvell Reese is. You don't want to do that as a coach, but I have a feeling if you sat down and you asked him, hey, which player on this defense allows you to be a better defensive coordinator, I think the answer is Arvell Reese. And we're talking about a team that has Caleb Downs on their team. Okay.
Facts.
So listen, you're splitting hairs there. Okay.
Right.
Best safety, best linebacker. It's wild. I'm not worried about this defense at all. I think the defense can do whatever they want, whenever they want. I think
Period.
they can completely shut down the run if they want. I think if they blitz the quarterback more, the QB's not going to make it. He's not going to make it. If the Buckeyes come out and they ramp their blitzing percentage up 20% this game, they're going to get 6 to 7 sacks this game.
Right.
Watch Arvell Reese when he blitzes. I haven't seen anybody who can stop him. I haven't seen a single tackle that when Arvell stuck his hand out and put him on it, did not go flying backwards.
Facts.
And I mean,
Facts.
it's kind of
Nah, man,
wild, bro.
it's the truth,
It's
bro.
wild, dude. Yeah, I don't know how else to say it. So when you're just as stacked and as loaded as this, I think you're going to start seeing as the season goes on this depth start to really build some confidence and some experience. Tywone Malone, look at what his confidence has done for him. It's not like the dude changed a bunch physically. So
Right.
ask yourself, how all of a sudden did Tywone Malone, who we thought was a bust, keep it real, Buckeye Nation, you guys thought he was a letdown, is coming out and doing what he's doing. Sonny Styles made a really good play on the red zone last game, but how about Tywone Malone with the ballerina move, grabbing that dude and throwing him backwards? Like the dude's confidence is growing. Devin
It
Sanchez
is.
confidence is going to grow.
Right.
By the end of the season in the playoffs, Devin Sanchez is going to be a lockdown corner. The dude's confidence is going to grow. So I love that. I predict Aaron Scott's going to start getting some more run. Logan George is going to be in the game a little bit more. Ziggy Grady, Jarquez Carter. You're going to really see a lot of players, I think more players than because we're halfway through the season. Ryan Day really knows now more than ever the importance of this depth. So that's really what I'm going to be focusing on this game. I'm not worried about Wisconsin attacking us in any type of way. right? That's what I'm going to be focused on. What players, what positions do you see the Buckeyes rotating a little more at? And that's really going to draw my attention. And I'm going to look at the confidence that's being built, the experience that's being gained. So
Right.
that's what I'm going to be looking at during the Wisconsin game. What you got, Ian?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna be looking at the same thing. I think we have the luxury of bringing people along, people growing. I think one of the things that we have to understand is you can get that tempo off because RL Reese is still a first year starter at the end of the day, and the reason why I held up 4 is because Mel Kiper's big board came out today, and he's number 4 overall pick, number 4 overall player on the big board after six
Yeah.
games. Come on, Dad, what are we doing here, right? And
Yeah.
so, but I think people forget as a first year starter there's going to be some hiccups in coverage with him and Sonny
Mm-hmm.
Styles as well. Sonny Styles can get better in coverage, and so I think, like you say, Patricia's already that's already was being addressed on the bus ride home, and being and you know what I mean. Of course it was, and you touched on something great, brother. Him being an offensive coordinator in New England, I think people tend to forget that. So he's
Yeah.
got the mind of an offensive coordinator and a defensive. He can obviously call plays at the highest level of football. So you couple that with being a defensive mastermind, I'm pretty sure he knows how to negate what Temple may do to our offense, our defense. And to be quite honest, I know Brett Bielema was, said that we couldn't do bleep with it, but I mean the last point, a couple of points they put up on a board, I would give the most credit to the tempo drive they had before halftime and after halftime. Right. And
Yeah.
that's 2 possessions. You didn't even give them a chance to really adjust. By that point, we had already kind of melded in. And so I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't necessarily think that's a weakness of ours. That's a weakness of ours. But I do think Patricia will be addressing that just in case we see a team try to go tempo, i.e. Indiana, i.e.
100%.
UCLA.
Yeah.
You and UCLA as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And I wanted to ask you a question real quick, brother. So I know the atmosphere at 3:30 in Camp Randall isn't like a night game. But what do you feel? What do you think? It just gets weird up there for me in Wisconsin, man. I just can't shake the feeling of just the weirdness of Wisconsin, Iowa, and Purdue. And so I wouldn't mind if we get a little bump. Maybe if we don't necessarily put them in the dirt, I would obviously that's what we all want to see, but I do think we need to get calloused a little bit in one of these games, right?
Yeah.
And Wisconsin just always strikes me as Luke Fickles from Ohio. Them boys is hearing all the talk in the media. He may be coaching for his job. It wouldn't be surprised if they put up a fight first quarter and a half.
Yeah.
And I think that'd be good for us. So I've been thinking about it all day. Like I wanted to ask you that question, man. How do you feel about maybe getting a little bit of that callus on us and getting our hands dirty a little bit? And Wisconsin seems like the perfect storm to make that happen, in my opinion. Right now,
Yeah.
at least with what's
Yeah.
going on.
Well, in a way, it is because it's Luke Fickle, and we know he's a good coach. We know the players are going to play hard. It's at Wisconsin, and they're playing Ohio State. This is their Super Bowl. If they win this game, they could lose the rest of the season, and it don't matter. Luke
Facts.
Fickle knows that too. Luke Fickle needs to make some moves and change, right? The national perspective and the perspective from his donors and everything else. If you beat Ohio State at Wisconsin, it changes everything. You just
Facts.
you just you just added another 4 years of a safety net to your contract. So best believe every single stop is gonna be pulled out this game. It's gonna be pulled out. I promise. The only area I see some callous being built is our rushing defense is number 9 in the nation. We allow
Right.
84 yards per game. Wisconsin's rushing defense is number 15. They allow 97 and a half rushing yards per game. What is the tendency Ohio State has been going? They've been being a little bit stubborn with their run game, right? I.e., the Scum game last year, a couple games this year, the Nebraska game, right? So we know that's a thing there. So if we come out doing that, I think Wisconsin does have the ability defensively to just go all out and make sure we just can't run the ball. And because Ryan Day is so focused on that, that's what he wants to do. I could see us getting in some 3rd and 10s, forcing Julian saying, right, first time starting quarterback, to make a 3rd and 10 in an environment where everybody's going to be turned, not because of Wisconsin, but because Ohio State is there. It's on the road. We're not talking about Julian saying, what's he got, 2 road games under his belt?
Right.
2? and I was at one of them. I was at one where the environment was supposed to be crazy. Let me tell you, it wasn't. The Washington Games environment was not crazy. It wasn't loud,
Hmm.
nothing, because the Buckeyes never let that happen. So, you know, if if they're able to get a couple stops on defense, watch out. The energy's going to get turned up. But we got 6 minutes. We got to get to these bold predictions. I want to get through
Let's
these
do it.
while you're on here. Yeah, so
Let's
we're going
do
to
it.
go real quick. Off defensive bold predictions. Here we go. My first one. Kenyatta Jackson, Caden Curry, and Arvell Reese are all going to have 2 sacks apiece. We're going to end up with 6 sacks on the game. What say you?
Defensive bold prediction. I have Caleb Downs with an interception.
Love it. My next defensive bold prediction, Jermaine Matthews with the pick 6. Yeah. Yeah. What you got? You got
I
2
got
more
I got
defensive.
I have Caden Curry with a strip fumble, or is it with the strip sack fumble.
Okay. I like it. I like it. Final defensive bold prediction, my dude Devin Sanchez, he getting an interception. First career interception as a Buckeye, baby. I love it. He's getting it. I'm telling you, he's getting it. All right, last one, and we'll go to the offense.
Last one, I have Sonny Styles with I say 3 tackles for losses.
Love it. I
Yep.
love it, man. Mark, no, Tinker's in her cage because Tinker distracts me from shows, and then I don't give you guys a very good show. Here we go. Offensive. Smith, Jeremiah Smith, not many yards last game. This game, 121 yards with 2 touchdowns.
This game, I have Bo Jackson going for 120 with the touchdown. I think we're going to start using him in the red zone a little more. So I got one, but a Bo with the 120 and a short tutty, not a long one, but it's a short one in the red zone.
I love it. Bo Jackson, I got him with 107 yards, averaging over 10 yards per carry. What you got? We got 3 super chats too. So what's your second one?
Brandon Ennis, give me 4 receptions for Brandon Ennis for 50 yards.
Oh, that would be nice. I would love that, man.
Yep.
I got Julian Sayin going 27 for 32, 401 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Jelani Thurman, red zone touchdown.
Hey.
Yeah, exactly. Jelani Thurman, red zone touchdown. That's my level.
I would love it, man. Yo, Mike Green, thank you so much for the $1.99. There's only 45 stars allowed each cycle. Politics. Yeah, that's why I throw these rankings out. If you're a top 200 player, that's all I really care about. There's 10 players per cycle that can probably come in, make a huge impact. The rest of them, number 10 in the nation and number 100 in the nation, there's not a difference, folks. We
Right.
think that there is, there's not. If you got player number 50, you got the 50th nationally ranked defensive lineman and the 100th ranked national defensive lineman, and you put them up against each other, it's going to be a 50-50 battle.
Right.
The number 50 is not going to dominate. It's not going to happen. That's just the way it is, man. Mike Green, thanks for the $1.99, brother. Ian, the way the O line playing, Zeke couldn't run well. Hey, there's some people giving the O line some hard time. Maybe I should go back and watch the film again. I think they're playing pretty well. Anything to add to those 2 super chats, Ian, before I read this one?
No, so I agree with the politics on the ratings, man. A lot of it is regional stuff. Especially, you see a lot of guys that once Ohio State offers them, they're all of a sudden a 5-star now. When we get them, they make, if they don't commit to us, then or when they do, they're 4-star. So no, I agree wholeheartedly. And Mike, man, I think the O line could be better run blocking, but I think a lot of it's got to do with the scheme. I think we need to
Yeah.
switch our scheme up, and I think we'll see a difference. Dev's been touching on that all week. I've been locked into the pod. I think we're gonna see a switch up this week. I think they know
Yeah.
what they're doing.
If there is blocking I'm going to complain about on this team, it's not the O line, it's the wide receiver and tight end blocking. That's
Correct.
the blocking that would be my first complaint before the O line. But Ryan Coolidge, thank you so much for the 1999, bro. Heck yeah, bro. Appreciate that. Why do I feel like there is a second, third, even fourth level to this offense that we haven't even touched yet? Truly feel like Ryan Day and Brian Hartline and keeping all the tricks up their sleeves. I'm ready to see the offense pop off. Ryan Day already told us that, Ryan. You're exactly right. You feel that way because it's the truth. The head coach even told us that. He ain't worried about no style points. He's content with what's going on. They haven't needed to pop off. It hasn't needed. The only game they would have needed it for is Texas, but that was Julian Saint's first start
Right,
against the
right,
number one team. So the only thing they were focused on Julian Saint doing was not turning the ball over. That's it. That was
right.
like his only number one goal. That's it. So they didn't put him in that situation. But man, dude, I expect these next 6 games we're gonna see some more explosive plays because we feel like we have that on our sleeve, but we still got to practice it in game. It's different than at practice. We still got to do it because this Buckeye team is talented enough. We saw it last year that 2 high safeties or not, we can still beat people deep. It don't matter. Play 6 deep. Play
Facts,
back.
facts.
Dude, we have Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, Max Clare. I mean, come on, man. How many catches over 2 defenders did you see Jeremiah Smith make last year? So, too deep or not, but we need to give Julian Saint that in-game experience. Ian, any final words, bro? Fire show. You did an awesome job, bro. I'm so stoked. This is going real good. I'm excited for
I
next week
appreciate
already.
I appreciate you, man. Again, I'm thankful for the opportunity, Deb. I want to continue growing, keep learning. I'm thankful for Buckeye Nation. The response has been awesome. I've been seeing the comments, getting obviously a few text messages from people back in my hometown. So if you keep rocking with me, everyone keep wanting me here. I'll keep it going. I love doing this. This is my life. Yeah, man. Thank you guys, and go Bucks. God bless.
Yeah, for sure, man. Reminder, me and B Moses, we're going to be at the Wisconsin game this weekend,
Mm.
going live. We'll be going live before the game and after the game. Will depend on the service a little bit there, so be patient with us. And also tomorrow, big show, man. Me and Bill Green, we're having Dalton Wasserman on from the PFF YouTube channel. Gonna really dive into some Buckeye analytics and really, the dude's real smart. Go check them guys out. He's gonna be on tomorrow. That's a big show. 7 p.m. tomorrow. Gonna be a big show. Very informative. So show up, guys. Appreciate you guys. Hit that like button, subscribe button. You know what to do. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Go Buckeyes. OH.
IO. Peace.